So hey guys, we're going to keep this video informal. This is just something I've wanted to make for a long time now, ever since Picard ended. So we had just filmed the rejoined episode of our show, and in the rejoined we kind of touched up on, well, we kind of talked really briefly about Picard, and that reminded me that I wanted to do this video. So I'm like, let's just sit down and make this informal video about Star Trek Picard. Yep.
So all these opinions and views are solely of people who reviewed this episode and our opinions as well. It's not going to be like, oh, this is what happens. We're not going to spoil it for anybody, but definitely, if you haven't seen the show yet, go check it out.
Yeah. And actually, if you haven't seen it, don't watch any further. We're probably going to bring up some spoilers.
Just go ahead and pause it, pin the tab or whatever. Just get in CBS and watch it. It's such a good series. It's very beautiful.
We're gonna talk about that some more too. So just a little backstory. I enjoyed the original series through Enterprise a lot. I wasn't a fan of the J.J. Abrams movies when they came out. Beyond was kind of okay. And I was not a big fan of Discovery. I don't know if I may make a video about that at some point. But it's getting a little better. I've started. We're informal, I guess it's fine. I've started realizing that we're in a new generation of entertainment as a whole. Entertainment has evolved. So things that were made in the 90s aren't the same as they were made today. Or, you know what I'm talking about. They look different. Things are done in a different style. If we tried to make things look like the 90s now, that wouldn't be appealing.
People like thrilling things. They like things that are super dark with really complex plot lines, that go all over the place.
Yeah. So, in general, what grabs people has changed. So, it makes sense that if we're making new Star Trek, that certain things evolve with it in order to stay current and relevant, but hopefully still
keep past audiences entertained, I think.
But also send the Star Trek message. So, with that said, I'm kind of turning around on Discovery, but when it comes to not really liking the J.J. Abrams and Discovery, I watched the first episode of Star Trek Picard, and it was, for me, an incredible breath of fresh air. It was so good. Well, to see Patrick Stewart and Picard again.
Go see some new characters with very complex backgrounds, which I love. I love the complexity of the backgrounds of the characters. And
even seeing Brent Spiner again.
That was nice. I really enjoyed seeing him. He's really nice.
So watching this first episode of Picard for the first time since Enterprise, I found real good hope in Star Trek. It's like, this is the Star Trek I've been waiting for 15 years. And I was so happy. And all the trailers and stuff leading up to this has been getting me so hopeful and so happy.
With the background blue skies, both versions, the Brent Spiner version as well as the Isa Brahms version. If you haven't heard both of these versions, go check them out. So good sounding. And
the Patrick Stewart interviews about Picard and his thoughts on it and what's coming and stuff. This got me really excited. This is going to be so cool to see, and then I was not let down at all.
It was definitely worth the wait and anticipation every week to be like, oh my god, this week. Yes. Friday night, let's get some pizza and calm down and sit down here and watch it.
From late January to late March, the weeks were long. They were so long. Now, this was pre-pandemic, mostly. Yeah, I think we got some pandemic...
It was
last episode or second to last, but
it was starting to come up the side of the States. So,
but a couple months before the pandemic, the weeks were already, they were getting long. It's like, you watch an episode, it leaves you on a spot. You're like, oh, I need the next one.
But you can't do that because you can't pay for fast pass on that kind of thing. If you don't know what fast pass is, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna explain it though.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are you doing?
I was gonna pull up the review. I think I screenshotted it.
Well, so. we don't need direct quotes or reviews. We got the gist.
Okay.
So So we as a family, uh, me and Kat and Katya, have been looking forward to this. Every Thursday we get the pizza, we put on Picard, and we're loving it. So, like, just the story wise, the acting is amazing. The music is amazing.
I love the score.
The way the story unfolded was awesome. So imagine my surprise when, like, in my Facebook feed, these CBS All Access things say, "Watch Star Trek Picard now, it's streaming," and then there's like the angry emoji, like a lot of them, and then I go to the comments, and it's a bunch of absolute hate. I can't believe the hate. There was so much hate. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Are we watching the same thing?
Is it different from in your part of the world? Is it just because we're Midwesterns? Does that change what the show
I don't know if that does or not. It's absolutely crazy. And I can't understand. Now this is like the same, but reversed when it came to Discovery. I was not a fan of Discovery, but then I see comments about, I'm a lifelong Trekkie and I love Discovery, and I'm like, what the heck, how?
And we're just like, does the Midwesterners just get different telecasts than everybody else does?
Wait, are we watching the same stuff? And also imagine my shock when the people who like Discovery don't like Picard.
And I'm like, but you're lifelong Trekkies, correct? Why do you not like this?
Well, how can you like Discovery and not like Picard?
Because Discovery just got dark and darker and darker and darker, and
Yeah.
then to the point where him and Katya didn't let me watch it because it got so dark, and I was super young when it was first coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So cannot believe the amount of hate. Now, IMDb gave it a 7.9?
7.6, I believe.
7.6 or 9.
I'll check on that while we talk.
Okay, so that's a fairly good rating, but you go to the reviews on IMDb, and it is a long time before you find a good review.
I had to actually reorganize how they gave me the sorting. It was automatically sorted right away as how people rated them as helpful, so likes and dislikes. And the helpful ones are all disliked ones. So I had to change the sorting to positive reviews, or highest rating, first. Which was very difficult to find ones that were very quotable. Oh, there's a Picard series, but whatever, that does this. It is rated a 7.6 out of 10.
Which is still pretty good, and
with 35,402 reviews.
Yeah. So, if you look, okay, so that seems pretty good. But if you look at the reviews and the people who left, like the reviews, it is a long time scrolling through before you find a positive one. So, it's just incredible. So I looked through the comments on Facebook, and we looked through the reviews here. Okay.
It's a very, very long list, by the way.
And they're usually the accumulation of
four main points.
Yeah, the same 4 main points. So let's talk about. So yeah, I just want to talk about the ones we see and our thoughts on that. So the first one is obviously, this is not Star Trek. This doesn't feel like Star Trek. Well, you got something to say about that first?
Actually, when this show was being announced at STLV for, I think, one of the first times last year, literally Sir Patrick Stewart said, I'm not going to be the captain, it might not have the same feel as before. And I was like, okay, I'm totally down for something very dystopian-y, because I'm a big fan of dystopians.
He made it clear that this is going to be something, he said, very different. Because he didn't want to give us Next Generation Season 8. I didn't want to see that either.
I didn't want to see, old Captain Picard, exploring new planets for 30-plus episodes. I would be bored.
He may not be the captain. We're going to see something entirely different. Captain Picard, or Jean-Luc Picard himself, may be very different himself. He may be a man changed by his experiences.
From, Nemesis, or movies prior, or
well,
the show.
It's mainly the events after Nemesis, leading up to
now.
to being to isolating himself on the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
So he did a very good job when this show was announced of the possible things you would expect. So when watching this show, it's like, no, I wasn't surprised by those things. That's exactly what he said was coming, and that's exactly what we got.
That's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want another TNG. I didn't want another, Jesus9 or Voyager or whatever, or Enterprise. I wanted something kind of dark, but not stupid dark. And I didn't want something that took forever to get to the main point of the series. Which this series got straight to the point, first episode, and it was very clean, I thought. It had very clean transitions. I know, and I also saw lots of reviews, I don't think we wrote this down, saying they took lots of creative writers' imagination thing. And I'm just like, they kind of have to. It's a completely brand new universe that nobody knows what happens. It's the farthest we've seen Star Trek be.
Which is a 20-year leap from Nemesis to Picard.
So it's the furthest we've seen the universe going to. So, with that far in leap in the future, this can be completely canon. But nobody knows because, we don't know what happened in those 20 years.
Oh, it is canon.
Well, it is canon, obviously.
Canon.
But, people are like, this isn't canon. But I'm like, it has to be.
If this was in another universe, I could like this. No. Things don't always have a happy ending. Maybe in a lot of Star Trek, maybe we had too many happy endings. But
I didn't mind the episodes that were kind of sad.
Like, a lot of real life doesn't have happy endings. So, this is very different.
It's very relevant,
and I enjoyed the different. Now, when we say not Star Trek, as in it's not a Starfleet crew on a Starfleet ship doing Starfleet missions.
Following Starfleet regulations.
This is kind of the first one to do that. And in that aspect, maybe it doesn't feel like the Star Trek you knew, but it is in the Star Trek universe. It's a Star Trek story. So, this may have been Picard, a Star Trek story.
Yeah.
And that's great. This is you get to see a series that is not Starfleet on a Starfleet crew.
A Starfleet ship with a Starfleet crew following all the Starfleet regulations, doing the missions and meeting new people and that kind of thing, and then conflicts because somebody messed something up or whatever, and they have to fight for the justice of them or whatever. And
this is a great look at life outside of that. Yeah, this is the first real biggest look we've seen of that.
Because Star Trek has been shown as a utopian most of the time. That's what people like. It's a utopian, it has a happy ending, it's a happy world with a happy ending. But most stories are this way. Mm-hmm. But some viewers, newer viewers, like dystopians. And I know lots of my friends like reading dystopians more than utopians because I'm tired of happy endings. I'm just tired of that. I think it's boring. I just get bored after a chapter and then I'm done. I don't like it anymore.
Now, if it's not Star Trek, as in this isn't an optimistic vision of the future, that's also kind of correct. However, I feel like at the end of Star Trek Picard, it's given us a lot of hope that things will be good again.
Cause
there are events like the massive mission to relocate Romulans out of the Romulan system and Romulus itself. That took a toll on the Federation and saw a lot of negativity. And then the synths attacked Mars, and then they banned the synths, and that created a whole different culture of negativity and paranoia and xenophobia. And it's like real life. These events can happen that can change our culture, kind of maybe change our way a little bit. We kind of stumble.
It made me think of how the whole history repeats itself view on things. It's taking the history repeats itself view on things, but making it show the actual reality of what happens if we accidentally let history happen itself. And we don't, not necessarily take precautions, but we exclude people from groups. We call them a lower social class or something. Or just a lower group that we discriminate against. And it's really trying to bring that group of people to light because we do have that in daily lives right now. We had that before. It's just, it doesn't get talked about. So now, by Star Trek Picard talking about tough topics like that with a different ideal of it, with like comparing it to different groups of people or races and that kind of thing, it changes views. And I like that. It was a very interesting way to put that now that I'm thinking about it. It's just like, whoa, didn't think about that until now when we were talking about it. But yeah. Let's get to the second point, shall we?
This is along the same lines. Picard doesn't act like Picard. Picard would never do that. This isn't the Picard we know. Again, we knew this going in, that there were events that change someone. It's been 20 years.
He's been isolating himself on a vineyard, probably not talking to anybody or anything besides the people living on the vineyard with him.
I went over the events, the massive mission to relocate Romulans, the synths attacking Mars, the ban on developing synths. He lost his faith in Starfleet, an organization he devoted his whole life to. It was his childhood dream to join Starfleet. He became a captain very fast.
His father was the captain.
No.
No, his father wasn't captain? I'm I'm an idiot. Sorry,
What?
guys.
His father ran the vineyard.
Oh, right. His father ran the vineyard. Wasn't mad about that. I'm sorry, y'all.
What?
I am very stupid right now. God.
You're fine. You're fine.
It's been a while, man.
But, you know, he, as a boy, that was his dream. He looked to the stars. So, he joined the academy, graduated, had really high remarks in the academy, became a captain really fast, but was a captain for a very long time. And he believed in the ideals. He held the ideals of Starfleet and the Federation to his heart, and that was his whole passion.
It was
for wanting to help the Romulans, even though people saw them as that's the enemy, that's their problem. He's like, we have to do this
because it doesn't matter if they're Romulans. It matters because they're.
All right, sorry about the cut. The camera died. So, Kat here is in the middle of talking about Picard saving Romulan lives.
I said lives at the end of that sentence, by the way. It got cut off, though.
Well, they know that. They saw it.
Oh, whoa. I thought you said it got cut off.
Well, no, but they saw it up to that point. They probably figured out what you were going to say.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we don't have a lot of time here, so we got to wrap this up. Well, not wrap it up, but we got to move quickly. So, we were talking about what led Picard to feeling the way he did. So, him and his Federation ideals wanted to save Romulan lives, and then... is there more you wanted to say about that?
No.
Okay. Well, then he encountered resistance from people in the Federation, not willing to help as much as they can. They couldn't see the urgency in needing to save these lives. He encountered resistance from the Romulan Empire itself. Their lack of trust in the Federation. Apparently, in the Federation Council, there were worlds which were against it, and they threatened to leave the Federation, which caused some political stir. Then the synths attacked Utopia Planitia, and then that led to Starfleet abandoning the mission, which Picard says, okay, we can work with this, we have a revised plan, but they wouldn't hear any of it. They wanted to scrap it. And that made him lose faith in the organization which he had given his whole life to up till that point. So this is a man who was brought down by the things he held most. They betrayed him.
Mm-hmm.
So that changed him. And that is a great story to me. This is very interesting to watch. What can change a man that for years we have watched in The Next Generation as one thing, turned into this because of the events that occurred.
Mm-hmm. And it's also kind of a whole, like, oh, what happens after their series, you know? It's just like, oh, so we know what happens on the screen, but, like, what would happen after they're done being a captain, or after they're done being on that ship, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives us a look into that idea, like, how he's so changed from the experiences he had in the Federation. He doesn't trust the Federation as much anymore. Even though he's like, they have my name in good, my name is good with them, and then they're like, no. So, that was interesting.
Yes. So I feel like when it comes to Picard doesn't act like Picard, well, he doesn't act like the Picard we saw in The Next Generation in the movies. But I believe it is the same Picard in that Picard we know would change, giving these dire events.
Yes.
So, I think it's perfect. I think it works great. And again, in line with what Patrick Stewart said the show would be. To me, it's just amazing.
So another point that we've seen very often is that it's too vulgar. There's too much harsh language used in like the 24th century or whatever, and I'm like, okay.
Well, that's kind of true.
But have you seen Discovery?
Yeah, for me that was an issue with Discovery, and I think an issue I had to kind of get over to accept that Discovery and Picard are new generation Trek. That they are made for today's standards and what appeals to today. I don't know if excessive cussing does.
Not this part of the gen.
No, not so much. And Picard, I guess I could have done without it, but it wasn't enough for me to have a huge problem with the entire series. Now again, given all that's going on, all that happened over the years, this has had an effect on the people as well, and I think that maybe made them a little cynical and a little more negative and less proper and professional as we saw them in The Next Generation. I think that's all I have to say about that. I wasn't a fan of that, but it wasn't enough for me to not appreciate the show.
But it wasn't excessive. It's just not like every sentence has a vulgar word in it. It's just in there sometimes, either to spread a point across or to emphasize words, which is fine. It's just, not excessive, so that's fine.
Alright, then the next biggest complaint, number 4, that I keep seeing in the comments is too slow and boring. I found the pace really good. It gave a chance to delve on the feelings of the people, and it brought up some really great acting.
Yeah, and I think if it was faster, I think it would have lost audiences as well. Like, they would be like, it's too fast, and there's too many plot holes, or, that kind of thing. But the pace that it had was a very moderate pace, which is very comfortable, I felt. It was actually kind of a fast moderate, which I like. I don't like things that are stupid slow moving, or moderate, like slow moderate moving, or maybe even moderate sometimes. I like something a little bit faster paced, but not, this happened in like one episode.
Well, see, this is called Star Trek Picard, and the pace allowed for you to feel what Picard was feeling, to know that he was dwelling on things, that he was troubled by things. This is about Picard and his resolve. And Patrick Stewart did so well with it. And I don't find it boring. I don't know where boring is coming from. I found everything to be intriguing.
The score fit the tone. I talk about the score every episode.
The music and the theme were phenomenal.
The music in the theme, I love the theme. It's such a beautiful theme. It's so soothing and calming, but like it's hyping, but it's also very soothing and calming. We listened to it in the car before. We listened to it that often. Oh, not often anymore, but we used to.
But it's a wonderful piece.
The soundtrack is so good. Like, I listen to the soundtrack every once in a while. Like, if I'm drawing like one of the Star Trek characters for the Twitter page or whatever, I listen to that to get in the mood of Star Trek. And oh my gosh, the score is so pretty. Like, I love the titles of the songs because they're quite easy to remember, but they're kind of long, so. But they fit with the scene, and, like, there's a couple hundred, but there's a couple waltzes in there which are kind of nice to listen to. Definitely more ballroomy sounding music, as well as some more somber sounding songs, which I really like the somber stuff. I really like somber music when I listen to orchestra stuff, so just the mood fits so well with the orchestra pieces, which I feel like some shows don't do that very well, but this really utilizes the orchestra very well and really nicely.
Agreed. Very much. And I don't know where you're getting boring. I just did not find it boring. I found every episode a delight. And something that did not let me down when I looked forward to it for a whole week.
Yeah, I was really, really upset when I had a conflict that, like, on, like, Thursdays or something, which I have, like, 2 conflicts every month for that most of the time. So I was like, I get really sad because I'm like, I can't watch it with you guys because I have a meeting, and then I come back and then we watch it.
So basically, those are our thoughts. For you guys who had these negative thoughts about Picard, I hope some of our ideas about things may help you dislike it a little less, at least.
And we're open to have a conversation down below if you have any thoughts, ideas.
Yeah,
Start conversation.
we can definitely keep this conversation going. I loved this series. It was so very good for me. And I like this joy I feel. It brings me so much hope in Star Trek that I wish you guys were feeling it.
I'm very, very excited about season 2. Some people are like, you should have stopped after the first episode, but I'm like, I am so psyched for season 2.
Oh. One more thing I want to say is, by the end of Picard, I feel like Picard was Picard again. Just because he came to terms with things. He wanted to help the synths. He made his case with Starfleet and the Romulans, and the synths, and it worked because he was him. Like it sounded like he was him to his core again. The priorities that mattered, the fundamentals of Starfleet. I think they all hit home again, and which I kind of expected. That at least at the end of Picard, we would see resolution to these problems, or we would see hope that these problems would go away.
But I think there's going to be more things, though, that I'm really, really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of sad that the Borg might not come back, though.
Yeah.
I kind of like them. They're kind of a cool gem, man.
Yeah.
Like, a creepy and ominous, like, their cubes are and how large they are compared to ships. I thought that was lit, but, like, whatever. It's fine if they're gone, I guess.
Yeah, so definitely look forward to season 2, and then Picard in general gives me hope for other Star Trek to come, like Strange New Worlds. That's coming.
The other things that may come.
I don't know about Section 31. Lower Decks looks interesting, and I have no idea about the Nickelodeon show. That probably won't appeal to my demographic, but I've still got to watch it anyway.
I'm probably going to watch it too, because it's probably appealing to my demographic or younger, so.
Probably younger.
Probably younger. It's on Nickelodeon. But some of the shows on Nickelodeon are definitely to my demographic. I can tell. But, I'll definitely make sure to watch it. And you can have a child's standpoint. You can have an adult standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's so nice about this. It's like, you can have my standpoint as a younger child, and then the standpoint of a older veteran Trekkie. And me being a newer Trekkie, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I hope this has helped. I wanted to make this for a while, so glad I finally got my thoughts and feelings out there. And I hope you guys, for the most part, will learn to like it. If you don't, and if you don't like it, at least hate it a little less.
You know.
It may become tolerable. Because the joy I feel from this, I just wish more people were feeling it. I'm surprised that most aren't.
Maybe we should just take a couple minutes and listen to the score. Just the score. Like, don't watch the show, just listen to, like, the music. Like, get the soundtrack on, like, Spotify or whatever. Just listen to it. It's such a pretty soundtrack, and I think if you fall in love with that soundtrack, which I bet you will, if you like some nice, beautiful tones and chimes and whatever, you'll probably like the show.
Alright, well, that's enough of our informal opinions and thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's keep the conversation going. Give some comments, your thoughts. Let's talk about it.
Well, he has Twitter. You can talk to him on there, too.
At the Star Trek guy.
If he gets anything interesting, he'll let me know, too, because I don't have a Twitter account yet, but, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we talk.
We talk very often.
Very, very often.
It's kind of our jam, you know.
At least
3 a.m., I drew spots all over my face for his opinions.
We talk maybe once or twice a week.
Well, maybe once or twice a week, or, you know, almost every hour of the day. It's kind of insane.
Yep.
But yeah, let us know down below, and anything else?
I don't think so. Okay. Thank you.
And bye-bye. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, so you can get you can know when all of our videos come out, and make sure to hit that like button. So.
And follow me, Twitter.
And hit the like button, like I was gonna say, so you can get more content like this.
Yes, and as we say in the other videos, let us know what else you want to see, what else you want us to talk about, anything. We're probably, at this point, we're just kind of mostly talking to ourselves, because not many people are watching. But, maybe we'll get there.
Maybe you could just share this with your friends, see what they think of this, and that kind of thing. If you have some negative Nancys out there, share this with them. Maybe they'll think differently.
I'm also a guy with a laptop with very cheap editing software. I don't know how to make videos fancy. I have a very, a flip camera from 10 years ago. I don't know how to make them fancy. I don't know how to make them pop. I don't know how to make graphics. I don't know how to make, show pictures while I'm talking over it. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Like, I would like to make some real awesome looking content, but I just don't know how. I need help.
Well, maybe we'll continue this for another video then.
What's up?
That whole, I need help thing.
I need help.
Well, we'll see you in another video, guys.
I'm in the 21st century, but just not very far. I need to get a little further.
We've been in the 21st century for...
What?
We've been in the 21st century for how long?
20 years?
No, we haven't.
Yes.
We've been in the 21st century for more than 20 years.
No.
We haven't?
No. You were born in the 21st century. 21st century started in the year 2000.
Oh, I feel stupid.
Yeah, no, Picard's father was not a starship captain.
Stop that! We'll see you in another video, guys. Bye.